could have like tea and crumpets right now. Like, holy this thing rips.
Saddle back on.
Nice. Love the look of that fairing. It looks good. Looks like a fucking Windows screensaver out here, goddamn.
Every time I take my bike out, it's in Mexico.
Look, head turned, no issue whatsoever. Oh, dude, this is nice. That is the key decision maker here, 100%.
What up, Block fam? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to today's video at Seminole Harley-Davidson. So if you guys have been watching the channel for a little bit, you guys know we have a long standing partnership with Seminole Harley-Davidson here in Sanford, Florida. I got a question recently from MichaelBertinion here. If you guys aren't following him or subscribe to his channel, be sure to check him out. He's the one that did the Stage 2 turbo on the 131 on the Street Glide a while back, the video that we made. So
a little crazy.
Just full send. He sold that bike and he was like, hey, I'm looking to buy a Low Rider S or Low Rider ST.
So I immediately called up Block because I know he's the only one that I know of that has experience with both bikes. My immediate reaction was, do you really notice the difference between having the fairing and not having the fairing? Which then led me into a bunch of other questions in terms of peg position and riding style and weight. And so we just figured it'd be best to come and actually test ride both bikes and see what are the actual differences and which one I like more for the next build series.
Yeah, so this is one of those things whenever you guys start asking us questions, which bike should I choose, this one or this one? We can tell you what the differences are on paper, but the best answer is to actually go to a dealership and test ride them. On that note, we are up here at Seminole Harley-Davidson at the dealership. We're test riding them, and Paul here is gonna tell us a little bit about the bikes.
The basic differences between these two bikes are going to be the locking saddlebags, the fairing, and the gauges. What they did was they stripped these bikes down, they cleaned off the dash panels that used to be on the tank, they moved it up for a more heads-up position. Basically, both bikes are going to be torque monster 117 motors. They've got jacked up suspension so you can get a little deeper in the corners. You're talking about inverted front ends, dual disc brakes. They're both cool bikes. It's just gonna come down to preference as far as for the fairing, the bags. I mean, I'm the kind of guy, I like to take a bunch of stuff with me wherever I go. So saddlebags to me really make a bike. I'm too old to be riding around like a Cub Scout with a backpack on. So
plus, man, like here in Florida, whenever you show up to your destination, there's a big sweat stain on
yes,
big
wet
spot in the center of the back. You know, between these two, it's just gonna be a personal preference thing. Either way, you can't go wrong. I mean, they're both just monsters for stock motorcycles. They both ride really well. I know a lot of guys were heartbroken when they went from twin exterior shocks to a single monoshock and made it a Softail chassis, but this monoshock rides really well, and I think even the diehard guys would be happy with the ride.
So the bike he was referencing, with having experience with both, I own a 2020 Low Rider S that I retrofitted the ST fairing onto, and then we also put some brackets and chopped bags, so like the top open bags instead of like the clamshells. You did have a question about the fairing that you were going to ask Paul.
Can you get this fairing or is it VIN locked?
I would imagine that you can get this fairing. It seems to me the only stuff they really VIN lock is CVO stuff.
Okay. So if I wanted to, let's just say hypothetically speaking, I'm sure others will think this too, if I wanted to get a Low Rider S because I didn't want bags, but I wanted the fairing, there's a potential that I can get that set up and put it on this bike.
I don't know what the fairing costs by itself, but to get a fairing, to get the brackets, to get it painted, to relocate turn signals, to do all that, I mean, it might just be easier to take the saddlebag off.
Nice. That's what's up.
Great, like just on the fly demonstration.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously what I'm thinking through too is I'm getting this bike, and as you know, it's a build series bike for me, so this is going to be stripped, right? And so, and what I'm modeling off of, and I wish and I hope Harley takes some design cues here, the bags, how you have Goldzilla set up to me is like, just everything about it, if you see in like the thumbnails or in side profile, it's like, oh my God, the bike is just so sexy. And so for me, if you will, my starting point is to first get to that point and then we'll, you know, start heading on other stuff.
Like a mini road glide.
And I think too, coming from a street glide, I definitely do want And I know Street Glide people are like, no, you did not say that.
Yeah,
but
this is
I know, yeah.
easy, bro.
Yeah, I know,
easy.
right? Yeah. Don't kill me in the comments,
pick
please.
that fight.
Right, exactly. Don't kill me in the comments. I owned a Street Glide for a really long time. So, but I think that once you do ride the road glide, having that fixed mounted, like the fairing mounted to the frame makes a significant difference. So yeah, I think that's the best comparison is you get a mini road glide, because I'm also not crazy about the road glide fairing, but I love this fairing.
Yeah. It's definitely like a big difference. I mean, you're not getting as many components and everything on the interior of the fairing. You can outfit it with a Rockford Fosgate speaker that is sold from Harley-Davidson, but you don't have infotainment. For me, like I mount my phone to my bars, and so I've got, you know, navigation and all that stuff right there. He's just in the camp right now trying to decide between the two. But before we get too far into, you know, nitpicking them and all that stuff, there's lots of aftermarket for both, and there's also lots of stuff offered from Screaming Eagle. Lots of stuff that you guys can do with these, stay within your warranty, and then if you don't care about your warranty, you want to do some aftermarket stuff, there's also a lot that you can do with them. Let's go ahead and throw a leg over these things, get the helmets on, and we'll go for the ride portion. You guys are in the Central Florida area. Even if you're not in the Central Florida area and you want a very friendly dealership that's going to treat you well, hit up Paul for me here at Seminole Harley-Davidson. Tell him Blockhead sent you, and they'll be sure to take care of you guys. Where can they reach you guys at?
We're right here in Sanford, Florida. We're family-run dealerships. We're a big store. I know you can see in the background here we got a ton of motorcycles.
Echo.
But it's still it's a small family-run store, so it's kind of got a nice feel, you know. And if we do it right here, you'll feel like you're part of the crew too once you've been here.
Even before I started working with them, like, it's not the traditional salesman, you know, like car salesman tactic where it's not aggressive, it's friendly, because a lot of people hate that, me included. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get on these bikes, see what they're all about. All right, guys, the test ride portion of the video. Just want to give a special shout out once again to Seminole Harley-Davidson for working with us here. You know, since I've been working with them for a while, they're basically willing to give us the bikes and let us go test ride them on our own. Usually a test ride is guided, and so this will basically allow us to kind of take the bikes a little further, and for MichaelBertinion to evaluate them a little better as well. He's going to start out on the Low Rider S, and I'm going to start out on the ST. Also, one thing that we're going to figure out for you guys, we're going to actually talk to parts, because one of the deciding factors for Bertini here is that he wants the ST fairing, but he doesn't necessarily want those bags. If you guys look in the neck, there is a plug there, and there's also some little spots right in here, which is where the bracketry for that fairing mount. So the frame, it's already set up to accept that fairing, but I'm pretty sure some of the parts are bin locked. We're gonna figure that out whenever we get back. So this is just so he can determine whether he wants the fairing or not.
Ready to go, Kimosabi?
Let's go. This job sucks, dude, having to ride motorcycles with friends.
So upset.
Right? Same. Let me guide you out of here. We'll get on that main road.
The bar position for me already is kind of like, feels extended.
They definitely changed the bar position up. With the aftermarket stuff, they were going with taller risers and then like MX style bars, you know, where they would like kick up.
Yep.
And so that's what Harley-Davidson did. I've talked to a number of people, and like bars is one of those things that usually is always, you know, within the first like 3 modifications, and a lot of people have been like, yeah, I'm like not even gonna touch the bars or change them at all. Like they'll maybe change risers in terms of the height of the bars and all that. A lot of people just stick with them.
Yeah, the height is perfect. I guess maybe like the angle. So the risers, I guess, is what I would be changing out, not the bars themselves. I love this gauge though, by the way. This gauge is sick. It feels very much like sporty, like race vibes. Like I'm ready to go.
So it's one of those things that Harley took from the aftermarket community once again, because everybody was doing it, mounting the gauge on the bars so that they were more visible. The gauge is on the tank of the 2020 like I've got. I like the look of it, but having to like need to look down at your gauges, like you are literally like looking down and like taking your eyes off the road.
No, and this is perfect. Like I can even in peripheral see where I need to shift that, so that's pretty nice. Okay, we're going right. Oh man, this thing has some pull. It's stock too.
It's no slouch for like, you know, right off the factory floor.
You know what I think it is too? The weight of this thing is so much lighter than what I'm used to, that like, I guess because of the weight difference, this thing feels like it's gonna pull. Hold on, give me a second, let me, holy crap. Oh my god, this thing rips. Holy crap.
So coming from a street glide, I mean, you're down a couple 100 pounds on that, right?
Yeah, like I think like 200+ pounds. Wow. Paul wasn't lying too about the monoshock. Obviously coming from a built bagger and having dual shocks, even performance shocks. Yeah, this feels pretty nice. Holy this thing rips. Oh my God, and that's freaking stock. Like, I feel like with the fairings, at least from what I've heard, people either love it or hate it, but I love the look of that fairing. It looks good. I started out with motorcycles thinking like fairings are dumb, right? Like I had the Sportster and drag bars and all that shit, and like I just really was not a fan of fairings. Even the Memphis shades, literally the only reason I put it on my bike was to block the wind. Like, it's a tool. I mean, you've got your road glides, which they've grown on me a bunch. On this one, you've got like the little small fairing, which, you know, it kind of grew on me whenever I had my Dyna Low Rider S, and then I got the Softail Low Rider S. Whenever they came out with the ST fairing, I was like, yo, that looks great, more aggressive. And this one, it just felt way more modern. And then once I sat on the bike and I got behind it, which you're gonna see whenever we, you know, hit this U-turn, you're gonna see like this is so well designed, dude. It really just keeps the wind off of you. Yeah, I think your reaction when I originally called you, like, you didn't intentionally mean to sell me, but at the same time, I felt when your reaction was priced, it was like, oh, not even comparable. Definitely the fairing. Yeah, no comparison at all. You've still got some wind. You're not in like this huge bubble like you would be with the Road Glide. You know, I'm not like drowning in just like stale air behind this thing. It does have the vents. If you're looking to do some miles, it's such an asset. And so one of the first things that I did ask you, well, how do you plan to ride it? Like, what do you plan on doing? You know, if you're just making like a track bike, then like you probably don't need the fairing. But if you're looking to actually do some miles on it, the fairing is going to save you. And this is where you're going to notice it. We're about to get on the highway, you know, we're going to hit like 75, 80 miles an hour. You're going to notice this is where this bike shines. That one, it does great power-wise, getting up to speed, all that. But like in terms of the purpose of the fairing, this bike kills it. The wind is starting to pick up, and I'm thinking to myself, man, we're probably doing like 65, 70. And then I look down and it said 50. And then I'm like, oh boy, okay. All right, so let me get up to speed here. I don't know if it's like an age thing now, you know, because obviously the older that we get, we become more like babies with certain things, like not caring to ride in the rain all the time, you know, situation. And then things like this with the fairing, like I'm doing 66 miles an hour. And I mean, look, obviously it's stable. I mean, you see me with one hand on the bar right now, but I am feeling it. Like I couldn't do this. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, you're a wimp. But I mean, it's all good. We all like what we like. From my place to Daytona, I couldn't keep this up for too long. It's like a max 2-hour ride. Yeah, that's probably my max. I would say 2 hours at this speed. And two, obviously for people who are going to be watching, I'm coming from a street glide, right? This is my first time back on a non-fairinged bike. Without the fairing here, I mean, I'm feeling everything like right here, all in these areas right here, like pockets of air. I'm getting no helmet buffeting. You're also probably getting a lot of clean air, so that fairing is going to keep that wind off your chest for the most part. It's not like cutting the air that's hitting your helmet in half. That's where you get the buffeting. So the wind either goes over your helmet entirely, which like on this, it's pretty much like almost over the helmet. You can get like a taller windshield on this one to like really make it go over the helmet. But then that one, it's going to keep a lot of that wind off your chest, so you're getting clean air versus like that halfway in, halfway out. Plus it's a really nice day. It's not like super windy. Let's get it up to like 80-ish. Yeah, so in terms of wind noise, it got pretty loud in here. In terms of the actual wind noise, that got pretty bad there for a little bit. This fairing is definitely helping me. I know it, at least to me, it seemed like a completely non-functional, pointless thing, but it is actually helping. I'm not getting any helmet buffeting whatsoever, but the body, I am taking a beating. Also, don't forget, you got cruise control on this. Oh, you're right. Yeah, it actually comes stock now. Oh, dude, this is nice. Oh, that's a game changer. Yo, cruise control, for those who don't have it, this is a game changer for any sort of distance riding. Dude, this bike feels super, super smooth. Like the front end, out of the box, for the price points that these things go for, this is a good turnkey motorcycle for sure. I would give the ergonomics and where everything is positioned, yeah, I would say an 8 out of 10. Everything is really, really nice, especially this gauge. I know this sounds crazy, but this is a game changer for me already.
Dude, it's in your line of sight, so it's
Yeah.
so much different than like having to look down. Eric, he has an ST. He ended up going to a dual gauge setup, which you can do, so that is an option. Bro, what a beautiful spot here. Let's pull these things in this field real quick and get a picture. Looks like a fucking Windows screensaver out here, goddamn. All right, so it is time to swap. So you get to get on the ST now, and I will get on the Low Rider S.
I'm excited for this one, but that was fun.
Biggest difference, obviously, with this one, fairing, and you've got some storage.
Got it. In terms of ergonomics already, bar-wise, dude, this is money. This is perfect.
Yeah, like I feel more scrunched up on this for sure. It's probably because the bars, I don't know, the foot pegs, they do feel different too. I don't know.
So the ST actually feels, my knees feel closer up to me, but this bike actually feels more comfortable.
Yeah, same. I agree. I feel more scrunched up on this one.
Oh, I don't have my tack anymore.
Ah, just gotta go by sound.
Immediately, like if I ended up buying an ST, 100%, I wouldn't even write it first. I would get the gauge that's on the S and put it on the ST. I do like the single gauge more than the digital. First mod immediately. Okay, yeah, you're 100% right in terms of
The wind.
oh my gosh, this is too comfy.
You're just all in the wind on this. Like it's definitely off your chest, but your helmet is fully in wind on this thing.
I could have like tea and crumpets right now.
You're a dough.
On cruise control, oh my gosh, this is like the best freaking thing ever. Harley nailed it with this bike, man. If I was Harley, I would actually be afraid of releasing a bike that's this good. Manufacturers don't do stuff like this because it hurts the production of the other bikes.
See, I think it was a good answer though, because it's like that in between, like people that aren't looking to go full bagger. For those people that aren't looking for all the rest of that, like the infotainment, the speakers, you know, you and I, we're talking right now on a Cardo and a Senna that we have linked up, which shout out to Cardo for sending over some units and being able to easily link with Senna. Appreciate you. We can listen to music through these. We can have phone calls, GPS navigation, the phone mount system that I have. Like I could take my phone out right now and it's got a magnet on the back of it and I could just put it right there. I mean, I've used this in so many instances needing navigation and I don't have a phone mount on somebody else's bike and I'll just put it on the tank. So all that stuff is taken care of that would normally be in the fairing by my phone and by a comm system. The ST, I think, is that great answer for people that aren't necessarily looking for all the rest of that, and then you're also not having to pay that price tag of all the rest of that either.
Not to sound fancy, but I concur.
You concur. Carry on. Why do not concur?
This completely nails it for me. Just like you, I always ride a full face helmet. I listen to music in my helmet itself. I do the same thing. I put my phone right here on the tank. It has a magnet. And so I don't need a speaker system. I know they do sell a kit if you wanted to do the Rockford Fosgates and do a system on this. When you were telling it to me before in terms of like the differences between the bikes, I'll even go out to say these are completely separate bikes. These shouldn't even be in terms of like a comparison. They're really not that close. I know that sounds kind of dramatic. This definitely feels like a completely different bike. You asked me about ergonomics on the S and I gave it an 8 out of 10. I would give this like a strong like 9.5. One thing I would also probably do, I am 6 feet tall, change out the windshield.
I've got a Clockworks on mine and it has the little flare at the top as well, so it helps to kick the wind up a little bit more. And took it down to the Keys, took it up to Tennessee and back. Great, man. It really keeps that wind off of you.
The Keys trip, that's where just took a little bit of a fall, right?
That's where Jess fell down the stairs. I mean, it's like, what, an hour ride? Are you okay?
Yes. I thought you were going down too.
You know what the trick to falling downstairs is?
Look cute while doing it?
Oh, you follow the steps.
Dude, that was a dad joke. I liked it though.
All right, well, we're gonna navigate this traffic, get back to the dealership, and we will get Bertini's final thoughts. If you guys have any questions on either of the bikes, do us a favor, be sure to comment down in the comment section below. Let us know. We'll answer to the best of our knowledge based on being able to ride these two side by side, this direct comparison. Since I personally own a Low Rider S and I've put an ST fairing on it, I'm sure you guys can guess which one I would go with. You know, that's just me. I'm trying to help out a friend here, make an educated guess, so it's we're gonna see what Bertini decides, but I'm pretty confident I know what the decision is too. Yeah. After your test ride, what are your thoughts?
These bikes should not even be comparison. I know that it's only a T, you know, difference. It makes a big difference though. Like, I know it only seems like, you know, it's a fairing and some bags. These bikes felt completely different to me.
So do you understand now, like, whenever you asked me the question, why I was like, let's just go ride them?
Yes, I would highly recommend going in and test driving it. You really have to see what your personal preference is here. Now, I'll tell you what my pros and cons are on both, and then I'll tell you what I would end up with. So in terms of the pros and cons on both, they're both very quick out of the box bikes. I would say for most people, even for me coming from a very, very quick
turbocharged 131.
Yeah, and built to the T, right? I would still consider this a quick bike. It has plenty of power right from the jump, and that's on both bikes. Now the fairing, this was a big worry for me here, because I'm like, it's probably just an aesthetic. That really does make a big difference. I did not get helmet buffeting on this, which I thought I was going to do. And I'm 6 foot tall. So although when I got it up to, I thought we were going like 70 and we were doing 54 miles an hour, 53. So you definitely do feel how fast you are going on this bike. In fact, you almost feel like you're going faster.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, for you coming from a 131 with the stage 2 Trask turbo on it, you ride slow, bro.
That's funny. I don't ride fast typically.
Yeah.
Riding fast is for videos.
Well, if you guys notice, like in most of the video, I'm like ahead of him or trying to get him to speed the hell up.
The only time you'll catch me going fast is in Mexico.
Every time I take my bike out, it's in Mexico.
The thing that I do like though, the gauge on this, it is right where you're at. This feels like you can legit get on this and just rip, and you're in the perfect spot. I mean, you could take it to the strip and confidently rip this bike. This has a much nicer riding position. I could ride this thing for hours and hours and hours and feel super comfortable on this bike.
Now you do have a digital tack as well in that gauge cluster.
Yeah.
I understand it's not analog, but you still do have a tack there if you feel you need it.
I like being able to see the tachometer go and the revs, and then just, it's like right there, just super simple.
Usually
like I don't have to look down.
I just base it on the space in between the dotted lines.
Oh my God. In Mexico, no. Totally in Mexico. The thing that I don't like, the offset of bags. I wish that Harley went with this size, not this size, but went with the smaller bag on both sides of the bike. So the only thing, if I were to, you know, go with this, which I'm gonna tell you in a second what I'm gonna go with, to have this gauge on the S, but on the ST.
Which you can do. Yeah, you can swap it, you can change it out to this gauge.
Yeah, or the dual gauges, like you mentioned.
Like Eric's. Paul did check with the parts counter over there. 1 or 2 little small pieces that are VIN locked, but we did confirm that the bracket that goes onto the neck that you need to mount the fairing is indeed VIN locked, which I went over in a video a while back. So with that in mind,
that is the key decision maker here. The ST wins 100%. Not even the same ballpark. I'm gonna go with the ST. And it's because of what it is. It's the fairing. I'm not gonna be keeping the bags. I'm gonna be doing it how Goldzilla is with the chop bag style. That's the look I like. This is worth every penny. Definitely the winner.
A lot more people would probably go this route since, you know, you're looking to change a gauge, you're looking to do different bags. So like, you know, you would get that. If you could add the fairing, if the VIN lock wasn't in place, I think it would probably be this one, but then 100%. Throw the fairing on there.
Yeah, 1000% I would be leaving with this bike today.
Is it still VIN locked?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get my pen and a credit app and I'll find out.
I'm pretty sure there's an ST with a VIN around here somewhere.
Hopefully in the future, Harley does un-VIN lock those few parts.
Anything else you want to throw in?
Appreciate you for making this all happen. So shout out to Blockhead and Blockhead Moto Garage, and Paul, appreciate you for making this happen. Seminole Harley. Thank you guys. Y'all are the best. Don't make an internet decision, ride the bikes first.
Yeah, everybody always comments, you know, should I get this, should I get that? Just go ride it and make the decision for yourself. Get the one that feels best for you.
Get what you want.
Yeah, exactly. I hope this video was insightful for you guys that might be in this camp of trying to decide between the two. Hope it was insightful for you.
It was. Now I need to build the fastest, lightest ST.
Ooh.
Which I'm gonna ride slow.
Yeah. Build a hella fast bike and ride it like a grandma.
Borrow it, baby.
In Mexico. You guys do me a favor, be sure to go follow Bertini. He's got a YouTube channel, which I'll be sure to link. Hit him up on Instagram. If you guys are in the Central Florida area, you're looking to come test ride a Harley, you got any questions, you need parts, and you're looking for a bike, do me a favor and hit up Paul. Be sure to post the info where you guys can find them down in the description as well. Really appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was insightful. If it was, do us a favor, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon also, so it sends you notifications of our future uploads and activity. And until next time, you guys ride safe out there, stay vigilant. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.